Now, you've probably heard that blog post from Andre Karpathy, maybe in 2017 or something, Software 2.0. Yes, we're talking about that in 2026, mainly because I want to bring it back into attention because it literally made me question what the future of computing is. If you've ever played with Codex or Claude Code or Cursor for even that matter, you know kind of what I'm talking about is you can go from natural language to an outcome on a computer. And honestly, I think we take that for granted today. I really want to bring to light Software 3.0, not necessarily exactly Software 3.0. I think there's a little spin on it. It's Andre Karpathy's idea of the neural computer. In his recent talk from Sequoia Capital, he's talking somewhat about neural network being the operating system for a computer. So it operates as a host system, dynamically generates and what the user wants on the fly. We're seeing these early signs today. So to give it a simple example, say you were to ask Codex or Claude Code, like clean up my file directory in my downloads folder, sort by, X amount of gigabytes, and then delete all those. Now, yeah, that's a lot of if statements, a lot of programming to be done there. If you look at the Python file, it might be like, 15 lines of code. And on top of that, you have to know those, that language. So you could just tell the computer what to do and then it interprets it and finds, the best possible solution, and then it does it. That's sort of the idea I want to riff about today. And I have a lot to explore. And to give some context on those people that don't know what Software 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0 is, Software 1.0 is, to put simply, that, you have a program, you just write a simple program, and that's essentially it, traditional programming, if you will. And then, since Software 2.0, you have a neural network. A good example for this is AlexNet. They trained a classifier to classify animals, cats, dogs, whatever, and it can generalize and classify new images of animals and such. You don't specifically have to program each classification in the system. It learns. Software 3.0 is where we have a system where it can go from natural language to output, and in between, it's on the neural network to find intent. To get the output we want. Now, the computers, on the other hand, you have, for 70 years, we have had this system where, we have CPUs, forms, buttons, all this to express our intent in ways that, if you go on a dashboard, you have the sidebar, all the buttons to express your intent of what you want to do on that dashboard. Actually, let me play this clip real quick.
So you could imagine completely neural computers in a certain sense. You feed raw videos, like imagine a device, he takes raw videos or audio into basically what's a neural net and uses diffusion to render a UI that is kind of like, unique for that moment in a certain sense. And I kind of feel like in the early days of computing, actually, people were a little bit confused as to whether computers would look like calculators or computers would look like neural nets. And in the 50s and 60s, it was not really obvious which way it would go. And of course, we went down the calculator path and ended up building classical computing. And then neural nets are currently running virtualized on existing computers. But you could imagine, I think, that a lot of this will flip and that the neural net becomes kind of like the host process. And the CPUs become kind of like the coprocessor. So we saw the diagram of, intelligence.
This fundamentally changes the way I probably will think about computers going forward. And if you think about the secondhand effects, what will this do to other things that you use as software? Like, is software even software anymore if your computer writes the software itself to serve your needs? Now, the problem with traditional software is it has to be converted into structured data before the computer can do anything useful. Most of the time, audio, screenshots, PDFs, you name it. The messy reality of all of this is not necessarily a problem anymore with quote unquote software. I guess I would call it 3.5. Now, I always like to reiterate the whole intent of software from first principles. From first principles, software serves to automate, and ask yourself, what is it supposed to automate? Depends on what you're doing, but traditionally software is made for, of course, humans. You have dashboards, buttons, etc. What we talked about previously. But if you zoom out, you have some type of intent. that intent expressed through buttons and, toggles and whatnot. If the software 3.0 can do that, then obviously we don't need that human layer. We don't need that user interface. That's why you're having these scenarios where these coding agents are using command line interfaces or APIs, directly calling the APIs, MCPs, of course. Flashbang warning, my bad, but I want to show this. I think this is where most modern SaaS companies are trying to survive in this world of, software 3.0. They're converting to a headless UI for an agent, because most of the time their user base most people are asking for their agent access instead of themselves. It's such a weird dichotomy of like, what do we know? When is there trust, but we're having some type of, identity problem with agents, of course, but that's another video for another day. And that brings me into another point. Like, we have all of this on-demand generation of, code. So what goes to say that we cannot actually have a human part into it? User interfaces, specifically non-headless ones, serve to the human benefit. And if we can generate user interfaces on the fly, if you want specific rules or, a goal you want to, if you have specific statistics you want to view at that certain time, you could view the image and then certain statistics below there, and then scrap that user interface. Now, this opens the door for hyper-specific user interfaces for that specific moment. So you don't have to go clicking around everywhere and finding something, or maybe in Tableau where you have to, or a Power BI where you custom make your dashboard. It just does it by itself. I want to shout out Versal for this. I've used this framework many times for generative UI use cases, but this is an example of what I'm talking about. So if you just describe what you want, let's say recipe card for rating and ingredients, and it's going to stream a JSON of data. That data is going to get converted to React, and we have a whole on-demand user interface, hyper-specific for my situation. Now, obviously, we have some downsides of a neural computer. You have, they call it jagged intelligence. I know Demis Hassabis talks about this a lot. He basically says that it's smart in some domains and it's very, very dumb in some others. It can write a fully optimized machine learning algorithm, but sometimes it can't, for example, count the number of R's in strawberry. Obviously that's probably fixed, but you get my point. Now, of course, you have this environment. There's still a human in the loop. We still have to tell what to do. We're not at the point where, we have agents telling agents, telling agents, telling agents. Eventually there has to be human at the top to initiate that request. But we're seeing these early snippets of the neural runtime for codecs, or, they have computer use. Yes, it's at the early stages. We're still optimizing for automating human user interfaces, clicking through everything, because it takes a lot of switching, and it takes a lot of industry adoption and whatnot to get to the interfaces we want for our agents. But now this honestly somewhat scares me for people that do run SaaS companies and run their whole business on a SaaS product. It can collapse to something where it's not even useful anymore for that specific user. To give an example, education will probably get hyper-personalized. And I think the same thing is going to happen to software. Every software might be bespoke for that current user. These SaaS products have clients where they request specific features that only they want, and it doesn't serve the benefit for, these other people and their other clients. So it doesn't make sense for that company to add that feature. But I think that's now not so true. That specific site client that's requesting a feature can just make that all in-house. And I feel like that's where it's going to come to when we have a computer that can basically do everything we want. I think the problem with that is most people don't know what they want. I really don't think that somebody would just out of the air wanted a CRM. Very select few people wanted a CRM, and now a lot of other people adopted that mindset of a CRM. But yeah, I think that could be solved of trying to figure out what they call latent intent. I think that's a product marketing term for product people. They don't know what they want, but they obviously want it. It's not realized yet. I just wanted to talk to you guys about the concept of a neural computer. It's been on my mind lately, and yeah, that's. Tell me what you guys think. I actually have a robotics video coming soon. If you can't see in the background, yeah, can't wait to post that. But yeah, peace.